Hey guys, it's your boy MKS here, back here with part 2 of, I suppose it's kind of like my list of plans for Tuesdays, kind of. But anyway, I checked out part 1. If you're not, I hope you have checked out part 1 or will check out part 1 and look out for part 3. If you're not, go by order of absolutely no one because it's completely your choice. But anyway, sorry, I was trying to add a bit of humour there, but yeah, so a while back when I was deciding my plans, I decided Tuesday would be like for banking and business. I don't know why, but anyway, I can't quite remember why. But so since I'm focusing on Native Americans or Native people of the Americas, as I've been talking about, I hope to empower them in things like banking so they can learn about banking hopefully. Or I know I'm not in a position to do that myself, but I hope to suggest that idea and work with organizations that can perhaps help them or encourage banks to support them or whatever. So anyway, I'm going to crack on with my list and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And again, look out for part 3. I really appreciate support. Again, any of these videos, as I mentioned, part 1, if you've not already checked that out, any of the money I make, if I do make any money in the long term, if I get loads of views, will go towards the Native American community, all being well. I'll do everything I can to make sure I can fundraise for Native American communities as much as possible during July, August and September. Anyway. So here goes, number 11. I dream to support Native American inventors, ideas people, industrialists, help organizations to come together who can support Native Americans, including to help them to network together with all possible people in the Americas, like natives, so to connect together, indigenous or native, whichever term you prefer, and to help Native Americans to sell their items, products, goods, services, and things like that, and to be empowered, to be financially, again, to learn about banking, and maybe, I'd love to see more Native Americans in the banking sector, or system, whatever you call it, and also basically to have their own, certainly to at least have their own bank accounts, and maybe even invest together and support each other as much as they can, hopefully be generally financially empowered, financially/economically empowered, and look at and learn how to invest money they have, so hopefully it can go even further and help them to keep growing businesses and things like that as big as possible. Maybe even help them to become big businesses rather than just stay small. And I think it'd be interesting to see Native Americans learning about dyslexia and related conditions, and entrepreneurs like dyslexic or ADHD entrepreneurs, and how maybe dyslexic and ADHD entrepreneurs can help Native American communities. I'd love to encourage my fellow dyslexics or other neurodiverse people to help Native Americans as well as people of colour, and really make people think about how to support Native Americans and why it would be a good thing. Native people of all the Americas, as I said before, and how they're struggling and how to help them, in Brazil and places like that. Really bring a team together that can discuss those ideas, like think tanks, to discuss the empowerment of Native Americans, and social enterprise, social entrepreneurs, and that sort of thing. And again, encourage banks to do those sorts of training things, and that sort of thing. And I hope to come to more of that in more detail in the future as well. But yeah, network together, creating a network that helps Native people of all of the Americas to network together, but also the friends of the Native Americans, Native people of the Americas, which can help them as well, and through funding and legal support and whatever advice people can give people who are in a better position than me. But hopefully through my ideas, they'll think that's an interesting idea. I've never thought about that before, but it could be something to work on. I think that covers everything for point number 11. But again, yeah, so inventors and also Native Americans to be tested to see if any have dyslexia, and also talk about the positives of dyslexia as well. I don't know if anyone's ever done that before with communities like Native Americans, but I think it would be interesting, more people in Asia and Africa finding out about dyslexia, and hopefully the positive sides of dyslexia as well. So I think that would be interesting for Native Americans, and maybe I could be the person who suggested that idea, which would be interesting. But I know that I don't have a huge amount of experience or success, if you like. So it'd be great if I could encourage people with much more experience and success than I have, but who also have empathetic and charitable and philanthropic goals, or whatever you call it, to help them as well. Number 12, I hope in August to make pages and groups on Facebook which talk about motivational videos and things like that for Native Americans, motivational things fit for Native Americans, as what you call it, and things like that, and make a page and a group for that, and like share all the possible things that can motivate and inspire Native Americans every Monday as well. And I'm mentioning it now, but just what I remember. I know I like to stick certain things on certain days, but yeah, so because I didn't get around to saying that yesterday, so but yeah, hopefully inspire and motivate Native Americans as much as possible, and like I say, companies, mentors, role models to go into reservations and like teach people and train people so they can become financially empowered due to the fact, like, I think it's Pinewood or Pine Ridge. I think it's Pine Ridge actually, which has such a low employment rate and so many problems. So I think financially supporting them could help them to be empowered in long term as well. Number 13, I hope to encourage Native Americans to like profit from making stories or YouTube videos where they react to like scary videos and talk about cryptids, Native American cryptids, and creepypastas / urban legends, whatever you call it, them, and like maybe have their own art with scary images or things like, again, reacting to scary YouTube videos, and I think that'd be pretty cool. Number 14, I hope that organisations will help Native Americans by listening to them to solve some of their problems, but suggesting ideas which can help them in the long run. And I hope to share links in the comment section about Native American entrepreneurs and organisations which can help more Native Americans and Native people of the Americas, as I say, like Brazil and Argentina and places like that, to be empowered both politically and financially as well. Financially / economically, or whatever you call it. Number 15, in the future, like my goal is really, one of my main goals anyway, is to as I say, financially / economically, whichever term you prefer to use, empower Native American people. That's the reason why I support the YouTubers and things like that. So I hope to find out interesting things about Native Americans, but the main thing is, like, I hope to financially empower them, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays, possibly Fridays as well. But well, I suppose the whole goal is mainly to sort of financially empower them as much as possible. Number 16, on that note, I hope, like I say, think tanks will share ideas and share whatever expertise and skills and knowledge they have, and, like, let's say, maybe write to banks and encourage them to support Native Americans, and like support the banks that help Native Americans through training, like funding for them, giving them stationery, giving them equipment that helps them with training in things like science and engineering, entrepreneurship, especially, and how to trade internationally and that sort of thing. And again, have their own banks. I suppose a bank wouldn't want to encourage like Native American. Maybe like they could have like a bank like Chase Bank or whatever in America. I don't name many American banks, but could look at how they can set up more banks on the reservation, so that and also, like I say, training programs to talk about how banks work and how business works and how to create their own business plans and things like that. And yeah, I hope as many people as possible, people of colour and people who believe in justice and people who want to help people who are oppressed or poor or have been historically oppressed will come together to help Native Americans, and like maybe talk about how they can work with other minorities such as the African American community, Asian Americans and other groups, and maybe even groups around the world, as I say, people of colour around the world, but especially African Americans, for instance, and look at how both groups have been oppressed and how they can help each other and work together to again, financially / economically and politically empower each other and that sort of thing. Number 17, again, hope to look at what strengths Native Americans have, what they can teach the rest of the world, and as I say, how they can sell their art and their works and their products, services, and utilize their skills, strengths, talents, abilities, imaginations, whatever other abilities they have to be financially empowered. And hopefully, like, my ideas will somehow spread to people like Gary Vaynerchuk or people like Grant Cardone and people like that, who can hopefully help share their experience and expertise, and other entrepreneurs can share their experience and entrepreneurship and expertise and things like that to help Native Americans as well. And like Native Americans who have done well can support other Native Americans. So I think it'd be really great to. I mean, I think if if the land was actually owned by them, like technically in today's money, they would actually have, many Native Americans would probably be millionaires, but because of the way things have worked and how their lands have been taken away and things like that, they've actually, they are financially in so many problems. So I think it would be like sort of form of justice. I'm sure any other group who went through such things would want that help. Number 18, again, hope to learn from like positive things about Native American communities and what they can share with the world, and also like what they can sell, what strengths they have, and how they can utilize those strengths to be financially empowered. 19, again, hope businesses, certain businesses, certain brands will do more charitable work for Native Americans, and maybe like if they see there's a group who wants to support Native Americans as part of their PR and part of their branding and things like that, they'll probably want to do more to train Native Americans, let's say in business, entrepreneurship, banking, and all sorts of areas like that. And number 20, I know I mentioned before like STEM, science, tech, engineering, and NIAD, entrepreneurship, and English, and things like that, because you can trade around the world through those sorts of things, and maths. But I thought like I'd love to help Native Americans in all those areas except for technology, which I hope to help Africa and Aborigines. But yeah, in the non-tech related areas. So as ever, sorry if I repeat any points or any ideas. I know this could be like kind of recap of ideas I've already had. I did try and think of some original ideas, so I hope some have been a bit different to what I've covered in videos in the past. So hopefully it wasn't too repetitive. But as ever, I'd love to know what you think. Like, are there areas where I can improve, or where I was a bit too repetitive, or is there any other way I could make my videos more interesting or exciting or fun or whatever? Anyway, as ever, I hope you enjoyed this, and please let me know what you think and what ways you would help Native Americans. Maybe I'll end this video with a question. How would you yourself help Native Americans? And I'm out. Peace out.